What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler, and to kick off my series of 2021 TIFF reviews, I'm here to let you know that The Humans is no perfect movie. And The Humans follows the Blake family, played by Richard Jenkins, Jayne Houdyshell, Amy Schumer, Beanie Feldstein, Steven Yeun, and June Squibb as they unite for Thanksgiving dinner. But once they start to reveal each other's personal and financial setbacks, things get reasonably intense. And not gonna lie, when I first bought my tickets, it was a little more reluctant than the others. I figured it was gonna be your typical Oscar Beatty family drama based off a play, but was hoping it would still be entertaining based on the performances from a great cast, the way they decide to analyze the situations the characters are going through, and hoping that it wasn't just your typical copy and paste adaptation of a play, seeing as how the director of this, Stephen Karam, is adapting his own play and is directing for the first time. But boy, was I surprised to find out that The Humans is actually a pretty mundane, almost slice of life type of realistic drama that was often as hilarious as it was tragic, and that the ensemble cast truly did feel like, for the most part, they had been given equal opportunities to shine. They never have this big tear jerking monologue or intense over the top shouting match that you instantly remember and will be used as their Oscar clip. And for some audience members, that is going to feel a little anticlimactic, but for me, that was actually what made the drama click. Every single character is trying to bottle up their emotions and make sure that their own problems don't become someone else's, and at the same time, they're trying to blow off steam by roasting each and every single other family member. And that was what made it so identifiable to watch, because family members legitimately roast each other the way they do in this movie. It helps us acknowledge that we're all human. It shows that we all have a sense of humor, and it led to some surprisingly funny moments that my theater absolutely ate up. But at the same time, there are moments where you can't tell if they're just breaking balls or legitimately trying to criticize each other. It's a subtle technique that the actors pull off flawlessly. I've always loved Richard Jenkins as an actor, and he is great here, to the point where just looking at his facial expressions as he's inspecting holes in the walls or parts of his daughter's brand new apartment he doesn't like, as if something was about to jump out, and he looks intense and terrified to the point where he can't even follow a basic conversation within the room. You can tell that something else is bothering him in life, but the movie wisely, for a large portion, keeps us guessing exactly what it is, and in the meantime, when he is concentrated, even when he's incredibly blunt about his daughter's choices in life that he doesn't approve of, you can tell that it's based on love and a concern for their well being. He just wants whatever is best for them, given the financial circumstances that they're all in. Jayne Houdyshell, who actually is reprising her role from the play, is totally seamless. She never gives a performance that feels like she's reenacting a play. It's cinematic, it's subdued in the realistic tone that they're going for, and she is so identifiable as the family member we all have who, whenever they say something miserable or something topical, they just spout out the most miserable shit in order to keep us informed and make it sound so dramatic. But in reality, it's just so they can get noticed whenever they say something shocking. And much like Jenkins, whenever anyone feels annoyed or ridicules her for just spouting the shit out for attention, she has this look on her face where you can tell that it's just a defense mechanism for everything else going on in her life, and also keeps you guessing what the internal conflict between her and her husband might be. Beanie Feldstein as their youngest daughter was okay. I don't blame her for any of the problems I had, but her characterization easily makes her the most annoying based on how preachy she is towards her views in life, where she has to make it incredibly clear that these meals are organic or are not artificially enhanced with genetics or some shit like that. I feel bad saying that with this, but she really is a stereotypical millennial, and it doesn't help that her line delivery is so high pitched that it's really hard to listen to her sometimes. Steven Yeun as her husband, who I was really looking forward to based on everything I've seen him since Walking Dead, like Burning or Minari, was good, but out of the ensemble cast members, I felt like he was one of the most underutilized. He didn't have as much screen time compared to the other family members. Since he's the in-law of the family, there isn't as much tension between them to begin with, which you would weirdly expect given how he's the in-law. But no, they treat him like a standard member of the family, and that part was definitely nice. But when it comes to analyzing his personal demons, he only has a sentence or two to really cover them, and I didn't think it was enough. But a lot of audience members will remember him based on this running gag about an insanely creepy dream that he had, which, don't get me wrong, was funny. And when they bring it back over and over again, it actually felt natural, but it wasn't enough to call it a memorable or good performance. But when I said that Amy Schumer was in the movie, a lot of you are probably going to wonder what I think of her doing something more dramatic, because I don't think she's done a standard drama since Thank You for Your Service. And I don't know anyone who saw it, so I can't really say how she did. But in regards to her performance in The Humans, I actually thought she was pretty good. She was one of my favorite performances and characters throughout the whole film. Once in a while, she does crack a lame joke that you could associate with her persona, but thankfully, the setups within the script and her delivery in the punchlines felt a lot more natural. She never tries to upstage anyone whenever she tries to roast or make a joke, which is such a breath of fresh air. But she's also one of the characters who we see all by her lonesome whenever she's taking a break from the family conversations. And we get these intense close ups of her staring at her phone trying to contact someone. And she's great at visually portraying grief and denial at the same time, where she has a hard time trying to bottle up her emotions in private, let alone in public. And she feels as if, for various reasons that I won't spoil, she has no other choice. And I've been in that situation so many times the past year or so. I feel like most of us already have, so that'll easily make her one of the most relatable characters. But in any case, I'm glad at the progress she's making. It doesn't change the fact that I don't really like her persona to begin with, and she absolutely is a joke thief, let's be honest about that. But if she keeps taking on more roles like this, I'd be fine with that. I'd have a lot more respect for her. And I gotta say, Stephen Karam did such a good job at noticing the similarities and differences between cinema and theater, because he blends the aspects that work about both mediums perfectly. So many scenes are actually just long takes of actors within the same frame, so our eyes are constantly looking back and forth between whoever's talking. Meanwhile, the camera zooms in and out slowly as the conversation comes to a close, kind of like a Yashizuro Ozu film. I stuck around for the Q&A screening, and he talked about how Ozu's cinematography being so minimalist but effective was a huge inspiration for his visual style, and you can definitely tell whenever you analyze certain shots. Especially, I love it when he puts actors in a frame within a frame or separates them with a wall or a door to subtly let us know that there is a rift between the family, even if they don't realize it or not. Because what I noticed was that the frame within a frame shots often occur when there's the least amount of family drama, to kind of give this off-kilter sense that something's wrong. He also talked about how he likes to film actors in shots that have a lot of empty space, because in his opinion, there's a great amount of tension instantly as soon as you're watching something like that, and that absolutely is true. Sometimes he relies on empty space a little too much by inserting these things called pillow shots, where it's just you're looking at a background or setting of a movie, and it's not necessarily supposed to connect continuity wise, but it's supposed to give you an emotional response. And I understand what he was going for. I just didn't think there were, in certain cases, enough clues to understand what the visual symbolism was behind it, seeing as how an audience member did ask him for the meaning behind Steven Yeun's dream, and he, as politely as possible, said that if I were to explain it, it would lose a lot of momentum. So, for that reason, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but there were a couple things that I thought were legitimate flaws in regards to his direction. For one, sometimes when he shoots scenes in such a huge wide shot for during the most dramatic moments, I couldn't really connect with it because the actors and their faces are so far away from the frame that I can't get as shocked or as angry as the characters are. And sometimes it doesn't help that they're shrouded in silhouettes based on these electrical shortages that they're having throughout the entire film. So I know that he was trying to be ambiguous in what the actors were going for, and sometimes it does work when he films a close-up of Richard Jenkins, but the camera is behind his head. So they're literally supposed to keep guessing what he's actually thinking, meanwhile he's saying something positive. And that part definitely works. It's just when the camera's so far away, I feel like I'm too far away to connect with them. And also, very minor thing, but There are jump scares in this movie. And I'm not 100% sure why. I know he referred to this movie as a family thriller when he was discussing his inspirations, but I didn't get the thriller aspect until the last 10 minutes of the movie, where you know definitively what is going on for Jenkins's head and how his way of trying to deal with it is hurting other people. And that part was effective, and if there were more moments like that, it would have been more consistent, but I don't know. The jump scare thing was kind of ridiculous. It reminded me of The Nest when they were implying a supernatural presence and then it just got ditched halfway through. But nevertheless, I'm glad that I saw The Humans. It's in my opinion how more plays should be adapted into film. It should be more visually focused. It should be a lot more subtle, and it should have actors who are equally good at comedy and drama, because the cast members all do great work. Karam, if he directs more movies, I'm definitely going to show up, especially if they're made by A24 like this one. And even though I think it was too subtle, I do appreciate Karam trusting us to understand what's going on. So for all those reasons, I'm going to give The Humans a 4 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. If you have seen The Humans, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it. Be sure to stay tuned for more TIFF reviews, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.